Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at the dev server once again for Seek and Destroy, and they've updated it. This is technically the third dev server, since we're now on 0.19. This is a new vehicle that they've added in. In this video, we'll go through some vehicle changes too. A lot of the vehicles, such as the XM800, got changed, so just bear with me, basically. But the first vehicle that is new is the Cool Bar. This, we had a look at it in the files the other day, and it's now in the game itself. It's going to be in the Coastal Fleet for America. It's after the LCSL-3 that you can see here. It's a destroyer frigate. In-game, it's labeled as a frigate, part of the Buckley class, and it has two single 5-inch cannons, plus a bunch of 40mm and 20mm. You can see it has two single 40s on the front, then two dual 40s on the back, and then just a quad, just in case you didn't think there was enough. There's also a bunch of single 20mm everywhere, and at the same time, it does get some depth charges, but no torpedoes. The 5-inch cannons are the same that you see on a lot of destroyers from America, the Mark 12s, and also the vehicle does seem to have pretty much everything else sorted, apart from some torpedoes. Instead, it just has a metric ton of depth charges. I don't know if the depth charges actually have the same look as the other ones, which is kind of fun. The bomb mortars and stuff like that now actually have like a thing that they show where they're gonna go, but it looks like for these ones that isn't the case yet, so maybe in the future, who knows. This vehicle will be very good at destroying coastal vehicles and also pack a little bit of a punch against the early destroyers, which is quite nice. The XM800T has been changed, so this vehicle was definitely not finished on the dev server, especially at 7.7 for what it was. But what they've done to it is they've given it its stabilizer. So this vehicle now with the 20mm alongside its DM63, which will pen quite a lot, it is able to rat around and fly around the place and do a lot of damage to a bunch of lighter targets with the stab. The stabilizer itself actually works at quite a high speed, which this thing will be operating at. You can see here at 45 kilometers an hour. It is still pretty stable unless you hit bumps. And as an added little thing too, it is now amphibious. So on those maps which offer little flanking routes to be able to move around the place with these tiny vehicles, you'll be able to use it. It even has a little scoop in the front, which I think is quite nice. So yeah, two quite nice little additions to this little vehicle. The other parts of the game have also been updated. First of all, we have another vehicle in the files, which is the VLT-2, which we'll be looking at later. It's the first French coastal machine that has been seen. For Germany, they seem to have changed the armor on the 2A4M, but it's not crazy or anything like that, and also can't really work out where the crew voices are from on the 2A4M. Pretty sure they're American, but they sound slightly different compared to the American voice lines. You can see here on the thermals, it's either Gen 2 or 3, so much better than what it had before, which was just the standard 2A4 thermals, which was just Gen 1. So this one will be completely fine. You can see here in the commanders as well, it also has very good thermals too. So along with the KEW round and also the thermals, there will be probably some armor changes. The armor isn't still ready yet. The vehicle itself only has protection, which is similar to the 2A4, so it's really not really going to do too much. If you actually have a look at its armor compared to the 2A5, the 2A5's armor is so much more better than it, and just understand, as I said, these things are probably not ready, so don't worry about it. The armor is one of those things that gets changed quite a lot before launch, so we'll have a look at it later when it's finished. They also fixed the T80UE1. This one is pretty much at what they talked about in the dev blog, and also close to what it's going to be. The pre-order for this vehicle just came out today, so if you want to check it out, make sure to do so. You can use my link to get a discount on it, and all of the other pre-order vehicles that are coming this update. The transmission has been changed, so it's more standard now to the T80 platform, with the 11 kilometers an hour backwards instead of the 4, which the other vehicles have. They still haven't modeled in the autoloader for this vehicle, but they have actually put in all of the information for those additional parts, which we'll talk about in a future video. So this one is as close as it's going to be to the standard premium. The only thing that it's missing is the thermals, which it doesn't have. It still only has standard NVDs, but it does have the 3BM46, does have the laser rangefinder, and everything else. It's also at 11.3 and good old rank 7, so this will be part of many people's top tier lineups. One of the cool things about the Bison as well, they added the cockpit to it. So it is slightly different than before. I believe it did have it before, but they have basically just made it a little bit more HD, so you can see everything that's in it. Talking about British vehicles as well, is they did add an ejection seat to the Meteor F Mark 8, and all the variants of it, so all the different ones that you'll see around the place. They also changed some RWRs in a way when it comes to lamps and how they're going to work. Not entirely sure what that is, but I'm sure we'll find out going forward. But yeah, the Bison now has a full HD display, which is really cool. The vehicle still doesn't have the R77 yet. It has exactly the same loadouts that it had previously. Nothing has really changed on it. It still has the Copio 21, and also access to the 27R1, the T1, and also the R73. So nothing there to look at. The Desert Warrior still doesn't have its thermals, but it did say in the devlog that it will, so look forward to that. Japan, the F-15J has changed its name, so now it's the JM instead of the JKai, which supposedly is more proper, but if I'm honest with you, I have no idea what is right or what is wrong when it comes to the name of these things. Another hilarious thing for Britain, you know how we talked about the Queen Mary was gone? Well, guess what else has gone? The hood. The hood has just disappeared, so hopefully it's found by the time the major update comes out, otherwise it might just never come back. That kind of sucks, but yeah, of course it will come back. They also fixed the weight on the Hungarian 2A7, so it is now heavier than the standard 2A7 by a decent chunk, and when you actually uninstall the mine protection, it does decrease the weight instead of increase it. So this one is pretty much ready to go. Nothing too crazy on this. I still think it can get overpressured through here with the standard Soviet rounds, so that kind of sucks. We can just test it for you. Yep, you could still overpressure it through the these areas if you want to take it out. Really fun that you can do that, by the way. Not annoying at all. That exists. The next part as well is the AMX. The AMX got its cockpit, so that one's ready to go too. And I don't think it got any extra armaments or anything like that. Instead, it's just got itself the cockpit. So people who pre-order this one and have a bit of fun with it, you'll be able to enjoy its full-on cockpit too. It's all in English, or at least it seems to be. So I don't see any Brazilian around the place, but it's still really cool. And obviously you have the new missile and the guided bombs too to help you out. So should work fantastically. And then also they've done some big changes to the Vextra. The Vextra is now at 9.7, and you may be wondering, why is this thing at 9.7? Well, they added thermals to it, and they're very good thermals. They're either Gen 2 or Gen 3, very high up there. They also added some more horsepower to this engine, so it can motor around a bit more. It's at 700 horsepower, so its low end acceleration is incredibly good on this vehicle now. And then also, they added the laser rangefinder. So this vehicle still has the OFL 105 F2, which only has 188mm at 60 degrees, so it's not the best round at 9.7 if you compare it to the standard AMX 40, which is here, at 9.7 with the 120, I believe. That has up to 228mm of penetration, but it still should be fine on the Vextra. It still should be good to go. My guess is they'll probably add something extra to this once again, like a something such as, you know, the another round to go forward. And then also the CV90 35DK. This thing is still not finished, by the way. Still not finished. It's still up in the air, but they have at least added some stuff to it. So laser rangefinder, the smoke grenades have also turned up. The APFS-DS for the 35mm has turned up, which is a huge deal. This pen's 131, 111.76, which is quite nice for a gun. And then also it still holds its premium status and still sits at rank 7. So you can bring this along and get everything else. So I think the only thing this thing is missing now is probably its thermals at the end of the day. So that would be pretty cool if they decide to add those. Those are the vehicle changes. We'll do another set which has a look at the extras from this update of the dev server. Look after yourselves. Peace be with you, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.